The spaceship Seeker landed on planet KX-479 with a soft thud. Dust rose around it in the thin air. Inside, Dr. Hyun checked his screens one last time. All readings normal, he said. Air is thin but breathable. Temperature is cool but safe, Dr. Hyun was the leader of this team. At 52 years old, his hair was starting to gray, but his eyes still showed the same wonder they had when he was a young student. Captain Jiwoo sat at the ship's controls. She had flown through hundreds of star systems. Her steady hands and calm mind made her the best pilot in the fleet. Landing. Complete, she said. Systems are stable. Dr. Minji looked up from her computer. She was studying the planet's surface scans. I'm seeing something strange, she said. Her finger traced lines on the screen. These patterns are too regular to be natural. Something is buried under the surface. Security Chief Do Yun stood behind her, arms crossed. His face showed concern. We should be careful, he said. Unknown planets always have surprises. Dr. Hyun nodded, but his eyes were bright with excitement. That's why we're here, to find those surprises. The team put on their light suits and stepped outside. The planet stretched before them, red rocks and dust as far as they could see. 2 small moons hung in the purple sky. Start setting up the base, Dr. Hyun ordered. Minji, keep scanning. Do-Hyun, secure the area. While the others worked, Dr. Hyun walked a short distance from the ship. His scanner beeped faster as he moved toward a large rock formation. Minji, he called. Come look at this. Dr. Minji hurried over, her own scanner in hand. The rock formation wasn't natural. Up close, they could see smooth edges and straight lines. It's a door, Dr. Minji said quietly. Or some kind of entrance. Chief Do-Hyun joined them, his hand resting on his weapon. We should report this before we go further, he said. It would take 3 days to get approval from command, Dr. Hyun said, and they would just tell us to proceed anyway. Captain Jiwoo arrived, carrying extra equipment. What did you find? Dr. Hyun pointed to marks on the stone surface. These look like writing. Minji, can you make anything of it? Dr. Minji studied the marks. It has elements of the Zorlan script we found in the Tau system, but there's something different about it. She touched the surface gently. It's much older. Dr. Hyun set up a small device next to the stone door. This should help us open it without causing damage. Chief Do-Hyun frowned. Protocol says we should study it from outside first. Sometimes progress requires risk, Dr. Hyun said. The device hummed and lights flashed across its surface. With a low rumble, the stone door began to move. Dust that had not been disturbed for millions of years filled the air. When it cleared, a dark passage led down into the planet. Lights on, Dr. Hyun said, activating the beam on his suit. The others did the same. The passage sloped gently downward. The walls were smooth and covered with more of the strange writing. They walked for almost an hour before the passage opened into a vast chamber. Incredible, Captain Jiwoo whispered. Their lights couldn't reach the ceiling of the chamber. Pillars taller than trees supported it. The floor was made of a material that looked like black glass, and in the center stood a crystal structure tall as a building. It's a monument of some kind, Dr. Minji said, or perhaps a record. Dr. Hyun approached it slowly. The crystal seemed to glow faintly from within. Look at these markings, he said. They're different from the ones outside. Dr. Minji studied them. I recognize elements from at least 7 extinct civilizations, but they're combined in ways I've never seen. Chief Do-Hyun scanned the chamber. No signs of life, no movement. But this place has power. Look. He pointed to small lights, glowing along the base of the pillars. After all this time, Captain Jiwoo said, whatever built this had incredible technology. Dr. Hyun reached out toward the crystal structure. His fingers hovered just above its surface. Hyun, Chief Do-Hyun warned, we don't know what that will do. That's why we're here, Dr. Hyun said again and placed his hand on the crystal. Light burst from the point of contact. It spread through the crystal like fire through dry grass. The entire structure hummed, the sound vibrating in their bones. Above them, the darkness vanished as the ceiling began to glow. They could now see that it was covered with a map of stars, thousands upon thousands of them, connected by lines of light. "It's a map," Captain Jiwoo said. "A map of the galaxy." "No," Dr. Minji said, her voice filled with awe. "It's a map of many galaxies." The light from the crystal structure grew brighter. A beam shot upward, connecting with the center of the star map. Points of light began to pulse along the connecting lines. "It's sending a signal," Chief Do-hyun said, his hand moving to his weapon. "Again. Or activating something," Dr. Hyun said. He couldn't take his eyes off the map. "We should go back to the ship," Captain Jiwoo said. "Report what we've found." But before they could move, the crystal released one final burst of light. It washed over them like a wave. For a moment, each of them saw the same image in their minds, a vast darkness stirring, becoming aware. Ancient eyes opening. Then, the light faded. The crystal continued to glow softly and the star map remained visible above. "Did everyone else?" Captain Jiwoo began. "See that?" Dr. Minji finished. "Yes." Chief Do-hyun's face was pale. "What was it?" Dr. Hyun looked at his hand, the one that had touched the crystal. I think we just woke something up." They left the chamber quickly, returning to their ship as night fell on KX-479. None of them spoke much. Each was too busy thinking about what they had seen. That night, they all had the same dream. A vast mind reached out across space. It had been sleeping for millions of years. Now it was awake, and it was hungry. In the morning, Dr. Hyun checked their communications equipment. "The crystal is broadcasting," he said, "sending a signal into deep space. Can we stop it?" Chief Do-hyun asked. Dr. Hyun shook his head. "I don't think so, and I don't think we're supposed to." "What do you mean?" Captain Jiwoo asked. "I think this place is a warning," Dr. Hyun said. "Or a prison, and we just unlocked the door." Dr. Minji looked at the data from the signal. "It's getting stronger, and there's something else." She pointed to her screen. "We're getting a response." Far away in the darkness between stars, something ancient was moving toward them. 3 months passed since the team left planet KX-479. Their discovery changed everything. Dr. Hyun sat in a large meeting room at Earth Command. Leaders from all human colonies filled the room. On screens around them, images from across human space showed strange events. "The signal from the crystal has reached at least 12 systems," Dr. Hyun said. "We don't know what it means yet, but strange things are happening everywhere." Admiral Sunwoo stood up. He was the head of the Terran Defense Fleet, tall and serious. "Mining. Colony 5 on New Sol reports machines turning on by themselves," he said. "Worker Taeyong sent this video yesterday. The screen showed heavy mining machines moving on their own. They were joining together, building something new. No one is controlling them," Admiral Sunwoo said. "They just started working." Dr. Minji stepped forward. For 3 months she had been studying the images and writing they found in the chamber. "I've translated parts of the message," she said. "Long ago, a species called the Architects ruled this part of space. They found something dangerous, creatures that lived between the stars. The Architects called them nightmares." The room was silent. Dr. Minji continued. "These creatures fed on intelligent life. The Architects couldn't kill them, so they trapped them in special pockets of space-time. The crystal we found was both a prison and a warning." Captain Jiwoo, who had been quiet until now, asked, "And we broke the lock?" Dr. Minji nodded. "The signal is waking them up, breaking their chains." A new message came in. A woman appeared on the main screen. She looked scared. "This is Dr. Yuna from Pacific Research Station. Something is happening in the deep ocean trenches. We're seeing life forms that don't match anything in our records. They're coming up from the deepest parts of the ocean." The screen showed dark shapes moving through water. They were huge, with strange glowing parts. "They're changing the water around them," Dr. Yuna said. "The chemistry is all wrong. It's like they're making the ocean more like wherever they came from. Admiral Sunwoo looked grim. We're getting reports like this from everywhere. Strange objects moving faster than our ships, stars dimming for no reason. It's happening all over human space. Chief Do-hyun, now head of Earth's defense team, spoke up. We need to prepare for an attack. These nightmares, whatever they are, sound dangerous. Dr. Hyun shook his head. I don't think we can fight them with normal weapons. The architects were far more advanced than us, and they could only trap these things. Suddenly, all screens in the room flickered. A new message came through, marked urgent. This is colony ship Daehyun near New Busan. We are under attack. There's something out here. It's huge. The message cut off. The screen showed a massive shape near New Busan. It was hard to look at. Its edges seemed to blur and shift. Parts of it seemed to disappear and reappear. It was the size of a small moon. What is that? Someone whispered. The first nightmare, Dr. Minji said. It's free. They watched as New Busan's defense ships fired at the shape. The weapons passed through it as if it wasn't there. Then the shape moved. It surrounded an orbital station in seconds. When it pulled back, the station was gone. All 10,000 people on board gone. Panic filled the room. Everyone talked at once. Admiral Sunwoo called for order. Dr. Hyun, he said, you found this thing. How do we stop it? Dr. Hyun looked lost. I don't know. But I think the answer is back on KX-479. We need to fully translate the message in the chamber. I'll take you, Captain Jiwoo said. The Seeker is ready. 3 days later, they were back on the dusty planet. The chamber under the surface was different now. The crystal glowed brighter, and the star map above showed new points of light. There are 7 of them, Dr. Minji said, studying the map. 7 nightmares, free or getting free. Dr. Hyun worked with a new device, scanning every part of the crystal. The architects didn't just trap the nightmares, he said, they studied them. There must be information here about what they are and how they work. The crystal suddenly flashed. New symbols appeared across its surface. It's responding to our questions, Dr. Minji said, excited. It's some kind of teaching tool. For hours, they worked with the crystal, learning more about the ancient enemy. What they discovered was both fascinating and terrifying. The nightmares aren't physical creatures, Dr. Minji explained as they returned to their ship. They exist partly in our reality and partly outside it. That's why weapons pass through them. Then how do we fight them? Captain Jiwoo asked. Each one is different, Dr. Hyun said. They have different, I guess you could call them personalities. Different ways of attacking, and different weaknesses. Back on Earth, a new plan was forming. If conventional weapons wouldn't work, they needed something new. Engineer Jinwoo hadn't slept in days. His workshop was filled with parts and tools. On his screens, images of the nightmare that attacked New Busan played over and over. If it exists in multiple dimensions, he muttered, then we need weapons that do the same. His new device hummed on the workbench. It didn't look impressive. Just a small box with strange patterns on its surface. But when activated, it created energy that vibrated between different frequencies of reality. At the same time, pilot Sung-ho was studying flight records from New Busan. Look here, he told Admiral Sunwoo. The creature moves in patterns. It's not random. We might be able to predict where it will go even if we can't hurt it yet. The second nightmare appeared near Earth's moon. This one looked like living electricity, blue-white energy that moved with purpose. It destroyed 3 ships before disappearing again. The third nightmare was spotted near the colony world of New Daegu. This one was different, a patch of absolute darkness that consumed light and heat. Commander Yona prepared her forces on New Daegu. She had Jinwoo's new weapons and Sung-ho's tactical plans. We won't run, she told her people. We will stand and fight. As the darkness approached their world, humanity prepared for its first real battle with the ancient horror. No one knew if they could win, but they would try, because that's what humans do. The darkness came to New Daegu like a storm. It rolled across the sky, blocking out the sun. Where it touched, things changed. Plants withered. Water froze. Machines stopped working. Commander Yeona watched from the colony's main tower. 6 months had passed since the first nightmare appeared. 5 colony worlds were gone now. Millions of people lost. "Are the new weapons ready?" she asked. Her second-in-command nodded. Engineer Jinwoo sent the latest models. "They're strange, but he says they will work." The weapons didn't look impressive. They were small devices that gave off a soft blue light. But they worked on multiple dimensions at once. They could touch what normal weapons could not. And pilot Sungho's flight patterns? All pilots know them. They've been practicing. Commander Yeona looked back at the approaching darkness. "Then we fight." Defense ships rose from the surface of New Daegu. They flew in tight formations, moving in the pattern Sungho had developed. The darkness reached for them, but they shifted, always just out of reach. "Now," Commander Yeona ordered. The ships fired, their new weapons. Beams of blue-white energy shot into the darkness. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the darkness rippled and pulled back. A sound filled the air, like a scream, but not from any human throat. "It worked," someone shouted. "The weapons heard it." The darkness attacked again, moving faster now. It caught one ship and crushed it. But the others kept firing. Blue-white scars appeared in the blackness. On Earth, Dr. Hyun and Dr. Minji watched. The battle through a live feed. They had been studying the crystal's message day and night. "There's something else here," Dr. Minji said. "Something the architects discovered about the nightmares." Dr. Hyun looked up from his work. "What is it?" "The nightmares feed on certain emotions and thoughts. Fear makes them stronger. Despair makes them stronger." "That makes sense," Dr. Hyun said. "They're predators of intelligent life. They evolved to hunt thinking beings." Dr. Minji pointed to a new section of the translation. "But there are things they can't process. Things that confuse or hurt them." "Like what?" "Hope. Creativity. Things the architects didn't have much of, but we humans have in abundance." Dr. Hyun's eyes widened. "You're saying we have a natural defense against them? Something the architects didn't?" Before Dr. Minji could answer, Admiral Sunwoo rushed in. "New Daegu is winning," he said. "Yona's forces have wounded the nightmare. It's retreating." Across human space, the news spread quickly. For the first time, a nightmare had been driven back. People who had been preparing to evacuate their worlds now stayed. If one nightmare could be hurt, maybe all of them could. Engineer Jinwoo worked even harder on his weapons. Each new model was better than the last. Pilot Sungho trained more pilots in his special flight patterns, and a new idea began to form. Admiral Sunwoo called a meeting of all military leaders. "We've been running from the nightmares," he said. "Hiding. Defending when they find us. But now we know they can be hurt." He showed a map of known nightmare sightings. "I propose we stop running. Instead, we hunt them." There were shocked murmurs. Hunt the nightmares? The things that had destroyed entire worlds? "The new weapons work," Admiral Sunwoo continued. "And Dr. Minji has discovered something important." Dr. Minji stepped forward. "The nightmares feed on fear, but they cannot process hope or creativity. These things confuse them, make them vulnerable." Dr. Hyun joined her. "We think we can use art, music, even mathematics as weapons against them. The architects couldn't do this. They weren't creative like humans, but we are." The plan seemed crazy, but humans often had crazy plans, and sometimes they worked. The nightmare that attacked New Daegu had retreated to a dead star system nearby. It was wounded but still dangerous. A fleet of human ships followed it. They carried Jinwoo's weapons, but also something new. Huge speakers on the ships broadcast human music into space. Screens projected human art. Computers sent mathematical proofs and poetry into the void. The nightmare tried to flee. It could not understand what was happening. The human creativity was like acid to it, burning its consciousness. The ships surrounded it, still broadcasting. Their weapons fired. The nightmare shuddered, then broke apart. Its darkness scattered and faded. The first nightmare had been destroyed. News of the victory spread across human space. People celebrated in the streets. For the first time since the nightmares appeared, there was real hope. "One down," Admiral Sunwoo said. 6 to go. The next nightmare was found near the ruins of a destroyed colony. This one looked like fire that burned without heat. The human fleet approached it carefully. "Different nightmare, different weakness," Dr. Hyun reminded them. "This one feeds on anger and hatred. The fleet broadcast different content this time. Calm thoughts, meditation, peaceful images. The fire nightmare flickered and weakened. The fleet moved in. The battle was harder this time. The nightmare fought back fiercely. 3 ships were lost. But in the end, the second nightmare also fell." On Earth, Dr. Minji made another discovery. The architects weren't just afraid of the nightmares, she told Dr. Hyun. They were afraid of what would happen if anyone ever defeated them all. "What do you mean?" Dr. Minji pointed to a new section of the translation. "According to this, any species that destroys all 7 nightmares will become different, changed. The architects feared that such a species might replace them as rulers of the galaxy." Dr. Hyun frowned. "So the nightmares are some kind of test?" "I think so. A test the architects never expected anyone to pass." The third nightmare was found near a gas giant, feeding on its energy. This one looked like living crystal, reflecting distorted images of everything around it. The fleet engaged it with their usual tactics, but the weapons had less effect. "It's adapting," Engineer Jinwoo warned. Learning from the previous battles, the fleet changed tactics. Instead of attacking directly, they surrounded the nightmare and projected contradictory information at it. The crystal nightmare tried to reflect it all, but couldn't handle the conflicting data. Cracks appeared in its surface. The battle lasted 3 days. In the end, the third nightmare also fell. 4 more remained, and they were learning. The next battles would be harder, but humans were learning too. 1 year after the first nightmare appeared, humanity had destroyed 6 of the 7 ancient horrors. Each battle was harder than the last. Each victory came at a greater cost. The final nightmare, the strongest of them all, was heading toward Earth. It called itself the end of thought in the messages it sent ahead. These messages drove some people mad just by hearing them. Dr. Hyun stood at the window of Earth Command, looking at the stars. Behind him, Admiral Sunwoo and the other leaders waited. "The last nightmare will reach Earth in 3 days, Admiral Sunwoo said. "Our fleet is ready. But this one is different from the others." Dr. Minji nodded. "The crystal's message is clear now. This nightmare is the oldest and strongest. The architects feared it most of all." Dr. Hyun turned from the window. "It doesn't just feed on fear or anger like the others. It feeds on thought itself, on consciousness." "Can we defeat it?" someone asked. Dr. Hyun looked at the faces around him. Many friends were gone now. Many good people lost in the battles, but humanity still stood. "Yes," he said, "but not with the fleet alone. I need to lead a small team directly into its core." There were shocked murmurs. Go into the nightmare? It seemed impossible. The previous nightmares were just soldiers, Dr. Hyun explained. This one is their leader. It's too smart to fall for our usual tactics. We need to attack it from inside. That's suicide, Admiral Sunwoo said. Maybe, Dr. Hyun admitted. But I've built a special ship, a small one that can enter the nightmare's energy field. Once inside, we can broadcast human creativity directly into its mind. Captain Jiwoo stepped forward. "I'll fly the ship." Dr. Minji joined her. "I'll go too. I know the nightmare's language better than anyone." Chief Do-hyun, who had been quiet, stood up. "You'll need protection. I'm coming with you." 2 days later, the final nightmare appeared at the edge of the solar system. It looked like a storm of dark energy, twisting and changing. Where it passed, reality itself seemed to bend. The human fleet moved to meet it. Thousands of ships carrying the best weapons Engineer Jinwoo could build. They attacked from all sides, following Pilot Sung-ho's complex patterns. But this nightmare was ready for them. It absorbed their attacks. It bent space around the ships, trapping them. For the first time, the human fleet began to lose. Behind the main fleet, the small ship carrying Dr. Hyun and his team approached quietly. It was built to look like space debris. As the battle raged, it slipped through the nightmare's defenses. "We're entering its energy field now," Captain Jiwoo said. Her voice was steady, but her hands shook slightly. The ship shuddered as dark energy washed over it. The special shields Jinwoo had designed glowed blue. "Hold together," Captain Jiwoo whispered. To the ship, Dr. Hyun activated the special device they'd brought. It began to broadcast human creativity, art, music, poetry, mathematics, dreams, hopes, directly into the nightmare's consciousness. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the space around them changed. They weren't in the ship anymore. Each of them stood in a different place. Dr. Hyun found himself in what looked like his childhood home. But everything was slightly wrong. The colors were too bright. The angles of the walls were impossible. "It's showing us different realities." Dr. Minji's voice came from everywhere. "Trying to confuse us." Dr. Hyun saw visions of worlds where humanity had failed, where the nightmares had won. He saw other worlds where humans had never existed at all. The universe seemed cold and empty without them. The nightmare's voice filled his mind. It spoke in concepts rather than words. "You are nothing," it said. "Less than nothing. A brief spark in endless darkness. Why fight? Why continue?" Dr. Hyun felt despair washing over him. The nightmare was right. In the grand scale of the universe, what did one species matter? What did anything matter? Then he heard music. Captain Jiwoo was singing. A simple song her mother had taught her. In another part of the nightmare's mind, Dr. Minji was reciting poetry. Chief Do-hyun was remembering a sunset he had seen as a child. Small things, human things. But they drove back the despair. Dr. Hyun thought of his own life. Yes, it was short compared to the age of stars. Yes, perhaps nothing he did would matter in a billion years. But it mattered now. It mattered to him and to those he loved. He pushed back against the nightmare's thoughts. "We create our own meaning," he said aloud. "That's what humans do. We look at an uncaring universe and we build meaning anyway." The nightmare's consciousness recoiled. It could not understand this concept. How could meaning exist if it was created rather than discovered? How could purpose exist if it was chosen rather than assigned? The human minds inside it were like wounds in its being. Their thoughts, contradictory, hopeful, creative, stubborn, burned its consciousness like fire. The end of thought began to break apart. Its hold on reality weakened. The human fleet still fighting outside broke through its defenses. "Keep going," Dr. Hyun called to his team. "It's working." They pushed harder, flooding the nightmare with human thoughts and emotions, art and science, love and courage, dreams and determination. The nightmare could not contain them. It had evolved to feed on fear and despair, not hope and creativity. These things were poison to it. With a sound that shook the solar system, the end of thought shattered, its consciousness fragmented. But as it died, something strange happened. Knowledge poured from it into the minds of every human in the system. The collected wisdom of countless civilizations the nightmare had consumed over billions of years. History, science, philosophy from species long extinct. Dr. Hyun and his team found themselves back in their ship. It was damaged but intact. Around them, the fleet was celebrating their victory. "We did it," Captain Jiwoo said quietly. "We defeated all 7. "Yes," Dr. Minji said. Her eyes were wide. "And now we know why the architects feared this moment." The knowledge from the nightmare was changing humanity. People everywhere reported new ideas, new understanding. It was as if a door had opened in their minds. The architects didn't imprison the nightmares just to protect the galaxy, Dr. Hyun said. They created a test. Only a species capable of defeating the nightmares would be worthy of what comes next. What comes next? Chief Do-hyun asked. Dr. Hyun looked out at the stars. They seemed different now, closer somehow, more accessible. Evolution, he said. The next step for our species. The architects are gone, but they left this path for whoever could walk it. As humanity began to explore its new knowledge, sensors detected signals from distant galaxies, other species facing their own nightmares, their own tests, and humanity prepared to answer their calls for help. The greatest adventure was just beginning.